Victory is mine. I have been fighting with New York State to get a vital statistics copy of my birth certificate, which I paid for in full in July. You know when I got it? Today. How is that overnight shipping? I'm going to have to call and complain to these people because they couldn't give me information. They couldn't give me information. All they kept telling me was, oh, we can send another status inquiry, but they don't provide us with a phone number to contact them directly. On the manual, it says not available. Okay, well, you know what? That's not acceptable. That's not acceptable for any number of reasons. So, after the week I've had, which is the last 7 to 10 days, including Sam having an issue because of the stress, me coming within a breath of breaking 3 toes on Monday and having to spend 4 hours in a local emergency room. I now have an awesome bruise. I was calling places, and I said, you know what? That's it. Like, I was calling and calling everywhere yesterday and trying to find phone numbers and calling 311, which is the New York State information system that they have set up. Nothing. I kept getting disconnected. I kept getting cut off. I kept getting voicemails saying, the office is not open today from 12 to 2. I'm like, bullshit. No one needs a 2-hour lunch. Certainly not a whole office, okay? Not a government office. You know, I understand people take lunches that are that long, but at least they have the sense not to forecast that they're doing it. But victory is mine. I finally called, and I got someone relatively quick, actually. I was only on hold for like 2 minutes at the actual vital statistics office, which is, you know, up near friggin' Albany. And she said, did your mother ever go by any other name? And I went through the whole thing with her, and she went, oh, okay. There was confusion about the first name that your mother went by. I've got it right here. You paid for overnight shipping. You'll have it by Friday. That was yesterday. I actually got it today. So that's good. Now it's a matter of going through, making sure that we have, you know, the license and everything in hand so that the rabbi can fill it out and the witnesses, blah, 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 blah. Today I'm on the hunt for what to do about Tribble, the kitten, because obviously we can't leave her alone for that long. That's negligent at best, criminal at worst, and I'm part cat, so no. So I'm trying to find her a relatively nice feline hotel, because depending on how much it costs, I'm going to ask our neighbor next door to maybe stop in on her again. But I don't know, because it's going to be for a longer period of time than just like 2 days, and I don't know if that's necessarily the most comfortable thing to ask him to do. I love my Keurig mini brewer. More wedding gifts have been coming, which is good, obviously. No one ever has a problem with gifts. But speaking of good things that happen, I finally got to talk to my little sister Jasmine again last night. That was good. Poor girl, the time difference. You know, I'm here so much, and yet the only time during the day she seems to have to talk to me is at like 1 in the morning in Florence. So, you know, I'm sitting around, I'm like, oh, okay, prime time's about to start at 8 o'clock. And the thing chirps that I've got a video call. I'm like, what is she still doing up at this hour? And then I remember who I'm talking about, and I'm like, oh yeah, she doesn't really sleep that much, does she? But in any event, I miss her. I miss my little sister, but as much as I miss her, I'm not going to say, oh, well, you know, she shouldn't have gone, oh, she should come back, or, you know, she should call me more often. No, she put a lot of time, a lot of effort, and to my understanding, a lot of her savings towards this internship. It was not a cheap thing, you know, in any manner of speaking. So, you know, I'm happy for her to be there. I mean, I'm jealous. I mean, getting to go to Italy to study something you love? Bite me. Yeah, of course I'm jealous. Obviously, I have my own stuff going on because the wedding is in, let me do some quick math, what, 13 days? Yeah, like 13, 14 days. It's 2 weeks. And there's a lot going on here, you know. picking up the rings, making sure we have our clothes together, making sure we have the certificate together, that we know who's getting to which location, how, and that everyone knows what time it's supposed to be, and making final payments on stuff. You know, by the end of this, when we go through and do the tally, I mean, it's not going to be for like a month from now, but when we go through and do the final tally, this thing is costing. Like, my idea of a wedding is, oh, okay, a couple people go down to City Hall. You know, I'm not really one for big, showy parties and spending a lot of money to feed people. Family, friend, or other. But it's what Sam wants. And in the long run, on the things that I find more important, I tend to get my way. You know, like having a bigger apartment, like finally getting a cat in the house again, like, you know, what state we keep the apartment in, you know, and those, it's the everyday things that tend to niggle at me that I'm much more concerned with, because those will cause continual long-term stress, whereas as frustrating as so much of this process has been, in the end, even I realize, once it's over, it's over. I seriously just have to get through the day of the wedding, and then it's all fun from there. I mean, well, I mean, it's a marriage, it's a life together. I'm not saying it's all fun, but you know what I'm saying. You know, like, once the whole of the wedding is done with, then there's the wedding night, enough said. The honeymoon, enough said. And then there's coming home and knowing it's done. It's done. We got through it. It's over. Whatever hit the fan, hit the fan. The people I actually give a real crap about are going to be there. You know, the really close friends and family that I actually care about, of which there's very, very few, are actually going to be there, including my little sister Jasmine, who's making this huge effort to come all the way back from Italy, just for like 3 days, so she can have some jet lag, do the wedding, have some sleep, and then fly back. I mean, okay, yes, we're paying for her ticket, because that's the fucking least we could do, because she's doing all that. So, the people I give a crap about are coming, and when it's over and done, it's over and done, and I'm just gonna be, like, kissing the apartment when we get home, like, I survived it. Oh, thank you, I survived it. I'm gonna be so happy it's over with. Oh. But yeah, you know, and it's the little things you gotta keep track of, you know, like getting in touch with a photographer, getting in touch with the event manager, making sure you know who you're supposed to feed, how many you're supposed to feed, what you're paying for it, and then you catch up with the little things. Oh crap, we have to put the mail on hold, because our mailbox is this big, and we're going to be gone for this many days, you know? Making sure there's somewhere for the cat. Making sure there's no perishable food rotting away in the refrigerator when we get home. So I'm checking dates on everything. Like, I'm taking time tomorrow, and I'm going through the entire fridge and freezer and plotting out meals, like, okay, the spinach can be used up this way, the fish can be used up like that. If I put aside this container of sauce, I can make sure that it lasts until this point, and then I think I can freeze that. And are we gonna need more creamer for coffee? It's a lot. It's the little things, and oftentimes the little things are what trip me up to hell and back. But in a situation like this, I'd rather over-document. I'd rather have too many papers. I would rather have too many details to cover and make sure it gets done, you know? Obviously, the thing with Sam tripped me up. The thing with almost breaking a good portion of my foot almost tripped me up. But recently, Sam's parents said, you know, we've been trying to avoid looking like we're pushing. You know, we've been trying to stay out of the wedding. It's your wedding. We don't want to seem, I don't know. I mean, it's only a kind of sense of opinion that I can really hand gesture explain. I don't know the actual wording, because, well, no, I won't even go there. But So they said, well, obviously it's getting to be too much. Obviously you're both suffering from some very serious stress-related effects. I mean, if you want our help, ask us. Tell us what we can do to help. Well, I'd already been harassing my dad, Okay, you know what? I sent the invitations to these people. It's your job to chase them down. That's what that's what I told my dad. I said, look, we're going to need help setting up the chairs at the venue for the ceremony. I need you and Matt to help with that. There's a good chance we'll get Sam's dad and brother to help too, but are you cool with that? And he went, yeah, it's chairs, whatever. I said to him, look, if you're coming down, you got to make sure that my sister and her husband get down here too. And he said, that's cool. Are you willing to pay for their room? Not a problem. Find me a great deal. I know you can. Which he did. We paid for it. I said, I need you to chase down these relatives. Some of them, like my Uncle Don, who I previously mentioned, got us all those things off of our wedding registry. Thank you again, Uncle Don. He was good about responding through the website. After some haranguing, my aunt responded through the website. I got a message from one of my brothers via Facebook saying thank you so much for asking us, but unfortunately we can't get the time away. That's fine. If you're working, if you can't afford the time, if you can't afford the travel, that's fine. Just tell me. Another sister said to me, well, the little one has school, and I said, okay, fine. I don't know. That early in the school year, I really don't think that's an acceptable reason. I mean, you're talking about one day out of the week, and I don't think it's whatever. Whatever. I'm not a parent. I admit, I'm not a parent. Okay, that's a decision a parent has to make for the child they're responsible for. Whatever. But yeah, so his parents said, well, let us know what we can do to help. So we have kind of, landed a few things on their plate and said, oh, okay, you're willing to do something? Here you go. There's so much to choose from. Help yourself. No, I don't sound that pleasant in real life. Trying to keep track on the rest of the everyday things. We already scheduled the pre-wedding hair appointment, so that everything's... I make sure to do that kind of thing. Like any big event, if I'm going to get my hair done for it, I do it at least a week and a half to 2 weeks before the event. Because that way, if it's just a little bit off looking when it's cut or dyed or something, usually within a couple of weeks, it rectifies itself, because hair grows. Dye will sometimes wash out in a way you're not expecting. But it takes years of dyeing my hair have taught me this. So I make sure it's at least a couple of weeks, because the worst thing that can happen is they cut it too short and it grows some. On the other hand, you pick a style, you wear it for a week, and you go, you know what? I don't like this. I want to change it. I want to shorten it. I want a different color. There's time to fix it. You can do that. It's not the day before. You have time. So that's good. Yeah. So I've been doing a lot of babbling. As you can tell, I'm remarkably busy. Right now I'm waiting for some food to come because my foot still hurts, so I can't really stand around the kitchen cooking, and I certainly can't go out and get myself something. But that's okay. I am going to go out later today and meet Sam because we're picking up the rings. Yes! And that's about it. I mean, and in the long run, we actually spent a hell of a lot less on the rings than I thought we would, but I think we got the best material for the rings, and we found a pattern, a design, that we both like. So that's good. Well, in any event, I could go on and on and on and on. I often don't, but I could. So that's what's going on here, and you probably will hear from me once or twice more before the wedding. But then, obviously, I'll be taking time off. Hope you guys are having a good beginning of fall.